Now, before we get into today's episode, I want you to be sure and subscribe to our newsletter. There is a link below to it in the description. That way we can stay connected no matter what happens, even if the fit hits the shan, because we got a country to save. Every morning around 7 a.m. Pacific time, I do something on Instagram that I call Robe Rage, where I post something that bothers me for 59 seconds or less. Last couple of days, it's been Chris Cuomo. This is the guy who referred to Donald Trump as having called the coronavirus a hoax, even after CNN's own fact checker said he never said it was a hoax. Morning, Robe Ragers. I watch a lot of CNN so you don't have to, and the other day, Chris, don't call me Fredo, did it again. Interviewing a screenwriter, he said this, and I'm quoting, "Even you couldn't have imagined what Trump would do in calling the pandemic a hoax," close quote. Sigh, fact checked by CNN, September 17, 2020, about a Biden ad that said the same thing. Quote, "This is a misleading attempt to suggest that Trump specifically called the coronavirus a hoax. While Trump's comments were a bit confusing, Biden's ad leaves out important context and dishonestly edits the two sound bites together. Taken in totality, Trump's comments at the February 28 rally indicate that he is deriding Democrats for attacking his performance on the coronavirus," end of quote. CNN said the man did not call it a hoax. I guess Chris Cuomo isn't the only one who doesn't watch CNN. Wow. Morning, Road Ragers. Looks like my commentary yesterday struck a nerve. I said that Chris, don't call me Fredo Cuomo of CNN, falsely claims that Donald Trump referred to the coronavirus as a hoax. And I pointed out that CNN's own fact checker said Donald Trump did not call the coronavirus a hoax. So Cuomo direct messages me and accuses me of being fugazi. I'm not quite sure what that means, but I don't think it was a term of endearment. So I offered to come on his program to discuss this, and I offered him a chance to come on my program to discuss this. And he said, quote, "I don't deserve the platform," close quote. Let me tell you why he doesn't want to have me on. Because I would point out that for 4 years and counting, Hillary has pushed the so-called big lie about the 2016 election, and CNN has given her a complete and total pass. I would point out the hypocrisy on the part of that network, and Chris, don't call me Fredo, wants nothing to do with it. After all, why does the baloney avoid the grinder? Out. And I heard from Mr. Cuomo. He privately messaged me on Twitter and accused me of disrespecting him, fair accusation, and accused me of being unfair that Donald Trump, in fact, did call it a hoax. One more time, CNN's own fact checker said it was not a hoax. On Robe Rage, every now and then I delve into politics. Morning, Robe Ragers. Notice that Democrats are all about root causes when it comes to things like illegal immigration. But when it comes to the dramatic increase in homicides in virtually every major American city, they don't want to talk about root causes. So let me help you out. The defund the police movement, the accusation that the police engage in systemic racism, the morale decline in the police department, a lot of cops resigning early, very difficult to recruit and retain officers. Oh, and the epidemic of fatherlessness in virtually every community. 70% of black kids raised without fathers, nearly half of Hispanic kids, 25% of white kids. So let's have a discussion about those kinds of root causes, shall we? Did I mention politics? Morning, Road Ragers. So Joe Biden has made Juneteenth a national holiday, so-called Emancipation Day. Now, this is the party that opposes vouchers K through 12 that urban parents want. This is a party that is allowing Lord knows how many illegal aliens to pour into our country, most of whom are unskilled, who compete against people with high school or less education, a disproportionate percentage of whom are black. This is a party that won't even have a discussion about the extent to which the welfare state has destroyed the nuclear intact family. This is a party that is pushing this bogus narrative of systemic racism and white oppression. But hey, Juneteenth is a federal holiday. We got that going for us, right? Well, in May alone, consumer prices soared by 5%. And in April, 4.2%. These are the highest bumps since 2008. Higher fuel prices, higher food prices, construction costs, housing prices. Inflation isn't just coming, it's here. Have you protected your savings, your investments? if they're tied to the dollar in stocks, bonds, or cash? Well, the answer is no. You see, Birch Gold Group offers you an opportunity to hedge against inflation by diversifying a portion of your savings into physical precious metals. In fact, with a little-known IRS loophole, you can even convert your IRA or eligible 401k into an IRA backed by gold and silver. That's right. With this simple move, you can convert your existing retirement savings that are tied to the stock market into an IRA with physical precious metals. It's your hedge against inflation. So contact Birch Gold Group to request a free info kit on physical precious metals. See if diversifying into gold makes sense for you. This comprehensive 20-page kit reveals how gold and silver can protect your savings and how you can legally move your IRA or 401k out of risky stocks and bonds into a precious metals IRA. Birch Gold Group has thousands of satisfied customers, countless 5-star reviews, and an A+ rating with the BBB. To get your no-cost, no-obligation kit, just text Larry to 474747. And for a limited time, see how you can qualify for up to $10,000 in free precious metals on your purchase. That's Larry to 474747. Don't get me started on urban violence, up year to year, but let's blame it on the guns.
Morning, Robe Ragers. We made it to the weekend. Can we talk a little bit about homicides being up in virtually every major big city? Let's just choose one. Baltimore, a city with 62.7% black population. Last year, 300 homicides, estimated that 90% of them black on black. This year, homicides up 17%. Now recall when Freddie Gray died a few years ago in police custody? At the time, the mayor was black, as is the case right now. The police commissioner black, as is the case right now. All of city council, Democrat majority black. The state attorney who brought charges against 6 officers, black. 2 of the 6 officers, black. A judge before whom 2 of the officers tried their cases, black. At the time, the U.S. AG, Loretta Lynch, black. Oh, and the President of the United States was black. But let's talk systemic racism. It is a con. Now, unless you're prepared to say blacks are just genetically inclined to commit more homicide, we need to have a discussion about absent fathers. Right, Joe Biden?
Morning, Road Ragers. Biden gave his big speech yesterday on how to reduce gun violence, and he wants more gun control and wants to go after gun dealers. Riddle me this. When Michael Brown was shot and killed in Ferguson, did they blame the gun or did they blame the cop? But when an inner city kid gets shot and killed by another inner city kid, they blame the gun. And it kind of goes like this, Mr. Biden. When you reduce the chances of a criminal being caught, being convicted, and being incarcerated, crime will go up. And then there's something called the Ferguson effect. That's cops pulling back for fear of being falsely accused of systemic racism. The former police chief of NYPD, Ray Kelly, recently said only 7% of officers said they would recommend the job to a friend or to a family member. That, sir, is why crime is going up. Oh, Hillary's big lie.
Morning, Road Ragers. I'm amazed at the pushback I get for talking about the lie Hillary's been pushing about the 2016 election. In the past, she's gotten, well, Larry, Hillary conceded, Donald Trump didn't. Really? January 7, 2021, CNBC, Trump finally concedes Biden will become president. Well, Larry, Hillary didn't join a lawsuit to overturn the 2016 election. Hillary moves to join Wisconsin recount lawsuit, and she filed a separate motion to have the recount done by hand. Well, Larry, Hillary supporters did not turn violent. When Trump got elected, BBC, protests turned violent in Portland, Oregon, 4,000 demonstrators, some smashed shop and car windows. Police said demonstrators were carrying bats, arming themselves with stones, objects thrown at the police. And then there was Inauguration Day. This is also the Reuters. Violent flares in Washington during Trump inauguration. Where's my apology?
Don't get me started on Joe Biden.
Morning, Road Ragers. Well, Joe Biden did it again to try to explain why so many blacks are reluctant to get vaccinated. Joe Biden said it's because of the history, because of the experiment that was done on the Tuskegee Airmen. He means the Tuskegee syphilis experiment had nothing to do with the Tuskegee Airmen. But Biden has been insulting black people for decades, claims as a teenager he would go to black churches and strategize on how to desegregate movie theaters and restaurants in Wilmington, Delaware. He didn't do any of that. Claims that he was arrested trying to visit Nelson Mandela during apartheid South Africa. No, he wasn't. Claims the NAACP had endorsed him in every single one of his races, when as a 501c3 organization, the NAACP has endorsed him in none. Told Charlemagne the God, you ain't really black if you don't want to vote for me. Said Mitt Romney wants to put y'all back in chains. Joe Biden treats black people for votes like children to whom the truth cannot be told. When are people going to wake up?
Trump derangement syndrome. Maybe someday there'll be a vaccine.
Morning, Robe Ragers. You know, I watch MSNBC, so you don't have to. The other day, Mika Brzezinski says the Republican Party has become a cult because Donald Trump has convinced the majority of them that the 2020 election was stolen. Please. Hillary Clinton, for 4 years and counting, has been running around telling anybody who'll listen that the 2016 election was stolen and President Trump was illegitimate, to the point where, according to a YouGov poll, respected 67% of Democrats believe that the Russians changed vote tallies, even though there's zero evidence, according to our intel community, that the Russians did so. And according to a Gallup poll, 78% of Democrats believe the Russians changed the outcome of the election, even though the intel community says we can't determine that one way or the other. So if Trump has turned Republicans into a cult, what the hell do you think Hillary has turned the Democrats into?
And then there was that time that I was in Santa Barbara.
Morning, Robe Ragers. So Sunday, I'm in Santa Barbara. For those of you who have never been to Santa Barbara, demographically, let's just say it's not Wakanda. So I pull up to a gas station, and just as I get out, I hear somebody say, "Hey, want a banana?" So I look up, and it's a white guy getting out of his car, pointing to a bag of bananas he has in his back seat, and he's talking to a homeless guy. Now, both of them are white. And so I said, "I thought you were talking to me. I was just about to accuse you of systemic racism." So the guy next to the car starts cracking up. The homeless guy starts cracking up. Then I said, "Now I'm still pissed. How come I'm the only guy you didn't offer a banana to? And they're both just dying now." And I said, "And I don't even like bananas. Homeless guy is just doubling over." And I said, "Throw something in the tip jar. I'm here all week." Did I just ask a homeless guy to tip me?
And one more thing. Suppose the gentleman who bellowed, "Hey, want a banana?" had in fact been talking to me and had done so with racist intentions. Not sure what I would have done or said about it, but I know this. I would not have assumed it was white people talking to me. I would have written it off as one a-hole in a population of 350 Americans. Sooner or later, you're going to run into an a-hole. After all, 8% of Americans believe Elvis is still alive, and 6% believe if you send him a letter, he will get it. Black Lives Matter?
Morning, Robe Ragers. Yesterday was the first anniversary of the death of George Floyd. Riddle me this. How did we go from 2008 electing the first black president to fast forward America is systemically racist? How did that happen? Are we supposed to forget that the Black Lives Matter movement really got impetus after the death of Michael Brown in Ferguson, and that the officer was completely exonerated, and that Michael Brown did not have his hands up, did not say don't shoot? Out of the 7,000 black homicide victims last year, maybe 1/3 were unarmed blacks shot by the cops. The cops kill more unarmed whites than unarmed blacks every year. Virtually every single one of these high-profile killings of blacks could have been avoided had the black suspect complied. Studies show that the cops are more hesitant, more reluctant to use deadly force against blacks than against whites. This whole thing is a con for vote for Democrats and rating for the media. Don't fall for it.
Oh, those Democrats.
Morning, Robe Ragers. Cue the fake outrage. Democrats outraged Republicans are not going along with a 9/11 style commission to investigate the insurrection that took place on January 6th. First of all, you lost this insurrection. Secondly, didn't you impeach the man? Now you're saying you need to find out why you impeached him? And when have you given a damn about results of commissions and studies? The Rob Silverman Commission found that George W. Bush did not lie about the intel leading up to the Iraq War. Majority of Democrats still believe that George W. Bush lied about the Iraq War. The 2016 election was investigated. Jay Johnson testified. Zero evidence that the Russians changed any vote tallies. 2/3 of Democrats believe Russians changed vote tallies. We had the Mueller investigation. No collusion, no obstruction. Most Democrats believe Donald Trump colluded and Donald Trump obstructed. This is all about hurting Donald Trump in 2024 because they're scared to death the man may come back. Out.
Again, every morning, circa 7 o'clock, depending upon whether or not I've had 2 or 3 drinks the night before. Check it out. Instagram, Robe Rage. I'm Larry Elder, and we've got a country to save. I will see you next time.